Hi, everyone. First, I'd like to thank everyone here who helped make this day possible. Besides Henry and Alyssa, I want to single out Alyssa's parents, Jeff and Jill. I don't know where they're sitting right now, but here they are here. And I also want to thank Henry's parents, my aunt and uncle, Lori and Randy. And of course, I'd like to thank all of you who made it here today to celebrate such an important occasion. I am especially glad to celebrate this wonderful day with my cousin Henry. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Luke, and I'm Henry's first cousin on his mom's side. Being 1 year younger than Henry, I've known him practically my entire life. Now, many people have cousins, and many people in the world grow up with the privilege of spending enjoyable times with their cousins. And of course, many people in the world love their cousins, if not for the fact that they're family. But for me, Henry has always been much more than a relative I saw every once in a while. Some of the happiest times I had as a kid is when I got to visit Henry in Ohio, or when he visited me in Chicago. When I look back on those times, Henry wasn't just someone I liked hanging out with. He wasn't just someone that I loved as a family member, but he was someone I was absolutely devoted to. I was devoted to Henry in a way that, in retrospect, seems almost strange. And it's too difficult for me to find the right words to explain. So let me share a few examples in a list I like to call ways I was obsessed with Henry as a child. Number one, I used to come home from elementary school and immediately call Henry on our landline phone, where we would talk for hours at a time. We'd talk about school, our families, sports, and the like. Sometimes we'd have nothing to talk about, but that was okay, as we would just hold the phones up to our ears and play Pokemon on our Game Boys at the same time. Often these conversations would only end when one of our mothers kicked us off the phone to use the landline for more practical reasons, or just because we were racking up probably significant long-distance phone charges. Number two, whenever my family and Henry's went out to dinner at a restaurant, I had to order the exact same thing as him. If Henry ordered chicken tenders, I had to order chicken tenders. If Henry ordered something that I didn't really like, I'd order it anyway, thinking, maybe I should give that food another shot. Even if I ordered something first, and Henry afterwards ordered something different, I changed my order on the spot. I wanted to be exactly like my cousin, which obviously meant I had to eat all the same things. Number three, growing up, there was nothing more exciting than when my family would drive from Chicago to Cleveland to visit the Nizio Binkies, and I got to hang out with Henry for a few days. At the same time, there was nothing more devastating than when that trip came to an end and I had to leave, knowing it could be months before I got to see Henry again. The obvious solution to this problem was to bring Henry in our car home with us when we left. Unfortunately, our parents rarely approved of this, so instead, my sisters and I would hide Henry in the backseat of our car, pile our luggage on top of him so that our parents wouldn't see. And one time, we even drove 30 minutes away from Cleveland before my mom heard a sneeze in the back seat she recognized was not one of her children. Number four, when I created my first email address, I had to create a password to log into my account. What was the password I chose? Obviously, it was Henry N for Henry Nizio Binky. Number five, one of the best birthday gifts I ever received from my parents was when I was in 4th grade. On my birthday, when I walked back into my classroom after recess, I was shocked to see my mom there, standing with Henry with a ribbon wrapped around him. Henry was literally my birthday present. My parents knew that for me, getting to hang out with Henry for a couple days was way better than any physical gift that they could have given me. And lastly, although I could go on and on, every year when it was my birthday, and I had to blow out the candles of my birthday cake, my mom would tell me to make a wish. Instead of wishing for the ability to fly or for $1 billion or whatever kids that age are supposed to wish for, I would always make my wish, quote, to be able to hang out with Henry forever and ever. So now that you all understand how important Henry has always been to me, the next logical question is why? Most of us here know that Henry is great, but why was I absolutely obsessed with the guy? There's really no way for me to know for sure. Maybe it's because I had 2 sisters and no brothers, and Henry had 2 sisters and no brothers. So he was, in a way, the brother I never got to have. That might be partly true, but I think I have a better explanation. You may have noticed that Henry had 15 groomsmen in his wedding party today. Having gotten to meet most of them over the past few months, I've learned that all these people share deep bonds with Henry and come from all walks of Henry's life. From his childhood in Rocky River, to his college years at Ohio State, to his adult life in Winchester. His whole life, Henry has been a master when it comes to building deep, loyal, and loving bonds wherever he goes. Perhaps my devotion to Henry isn't such an anomaly, but maybe it's just the norm for everyone whose life has been touched by his. And although I've matured to the point where I can order my own meals at restaurants, and my internet passwords are no longer Henry's name, Henry is still the same role model he's always been to me. Now, with that context hopefully set, I want to talk about Henry's new better half, Alyssa. A few years ago, Henry and I drove together from Cleveland to Winchester, where I was going to visit his new home for the first time. During that trip, I asked him about his dating life in his new town. Henry firmly told me that he was single and very much enjoying it. He didn't plan pursuing a serious relationship anytime soon. Given that conversation, I was pretty surprised when a few months later, Henry told me that he had met a girl named Alyssa, that she was absolutely incredible, and that he was very, very into her. I was of course curious about this mysterious girl, and I got to meet her a few months later, along with the rest of my and Henry's families. Now, I think it's part of human nature that when you fall in love with someone, meeting that person's family for the first time can be nerve-wracking. Because you like your significant other so much, you hope you give off a good impression so that their family will approve of your relationship. Therefore, when you do meet your significant other's family for the first time, you hope that all the circumstances are just right. Unfortunately for Alyssa, the circumstances for when she met me and the rest of Henry's family and extended family could not have been more challenging. To meet our family, Henry decided to bring Alyssa to Pittsburgh to see a Bruce Springsteen concert that our entire 12-person Bruce Springsteen-obsessed family was attending. So think about how challenging these circumstances were for Alyssa. First, off the bat, she's driving 4+ hours away with the guy she's only been dating for probably a few months at this point. Second, she has to stay in an Airbnb with 7 of Henry's siblings and cousins who she's never met for an entire weekend with almost 0 privacy to herself. Third, the schedule logistics are hectic, and given everyone else's deep Bruce fandom, the stakes are high. So now there's very little time or space for Alyssa to actually have a substantive conversation with anyone. Fourth, throw in the fact that upon arrival, Alyssa is immediately told to replace the outfit she's wearing with a Bruce Springsteen t-shirt that probably didn't even fit her right. And fifth, despite having little exposure to Bruce Springsteen's music before the trip, she still had to stand for over 3 hours in a packed, sweaty crowd of people who were all screaming out almost every word to every song. These circumstances would have been tough for anyone who didn't know what they were getting into, but should have been especially tough for a girl meeting her boyfriend's family for the first time. Yet despite these apparent challenges, Alyssa was absolutely incredible. She took everything in stride with a smile, never once complaining about any of the hectic logistics. Despite Henry being the only person she knew, she took the time and effort to introduce herself and meet all of us individually, showcasing the warm and friendly personality that we all love about her. She was a joy to be around, dancing, singing, and laughing with all of us at the concert. even when she didn't know all the words like we did. And most importantly, when you saw her and Henry together, you could tell that there was something special between them. Overall, Alyssa couldn't have made a better impression for our family. After that weekend, I remember thinking, this girl might truly be the real deal. A couple years later, I took a one-year job rotation where I lived in Washington, D.C. While there, I lived within driving distance of Henry and Alyssa and had the opportunity to see both of them often. During those times, I learned more about this person who my cousin Henry was obviously in love with. The more time I spent with Alyssa and Henry, the more I learned about Alyssa's many great qualities, like her hilarious sense of humor and how incredibly kind she is to everyone she meets. One time, when Alyssa invited me to go tubing down the Shenandoah River for her birthday, some of her friends who lived closer to DC gave me a ride down. During that car ride, I remember one of her friends described Alyssa, without any prodding from me, as probably the nicest human on the planet. It was so rewarding getting to learn more about Alyssa as an individual. But it was even more rewarding to learn more about what Alyssa and Henry are like together. Through those experiences, it became apparent that this moment for which we are all here to celebrate today was inevitable. So to wrap things up, I have a few final requests. Henry, know that the girl you're marrying is absolutely the real deal, and your family and friends couldn't be more happy for you. And Alyssa, as the guy who wished every childhood birthday that I could hang out with Henry forever and ever, never forget how special of a person you found. And to everyone else here tonight, please raise your glasses and join me in toasting the newly married couple.